has to end.
When Arcane dropped on Netflix in 2021, it completely caught us off guard in the best way possible. It didn't just prove that video game adaptations could work. In fact, it set a new standard by bringing the iconic world building of Riot Games' League of Legends to life with stunning success. Season 1 showed that these adaptations could not only be good, but great, even worthy of an Emmy if you ask me. So when Netflix announced that Season 2 of Arcane would also be the show's final chapter, we were left stunned once again. Now, Arcane just wrapped up last week, and lord, what a banger ending it was. But with the show's massive popularity and the earlier mentions of a possible 5-season plan, it's hard not to wonder if a third season will ever be on the table. Most importantly, what could be next for the League of Legends universe on screen? Well, we have answers to most of these questions. So without wasting another moment, let's dig through all the chatter surrounding the possibility of Arcane Season 3 and explore whether any new spin-offs or Arcane-adjacent projects might be brewing at Netflix or somewhere else. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Hero. Then what are you waiting for?
If Arcane supposedly had a 5-year plan, why was it cancelled? So, a long run for Arcane was never on the cards, despite what some reports suggested. While certain parts of Season 2 may have felt a bit rushed, which is understandable, considering how much story was packed into its 9 episodes, this wasn't the result of cramming several seasons worth of plot into just a few acts. While Arcane enthusiasts could only wish that it was true, some fans might find it a bit puzzling given that initial reports had reported that Arcane was originally envisioned as a 5-season series. But the news of this extended season plan spread like wildfire and got our hopes high. Arcane's abrupt conclusion filled speculations that the rushed ending might have been influenced by its hefty production costs, which was rumored to be a total $250 million, including promotion. However, very recently, the League of Legends creator Mark Merrill explained in a Reddit post that the internal budget discussion about approving 5 seasons were simply about allocating funds for extensive development. But these budget talks were unrelated to the creative direction of Arcane, and it was further emphasized that the focus for Riot and its team has always been on prioritizing creativity and delivering something exceptional. Eventually, Arcane creators Christian Link and Alex Yee also addressed all these rumors and clarified that a 5-season arc had never been the plan. They explained that after the pilot was developed, it became clear that the story would unfold over just 2 seasons. It seems these rumors may have stemmed from an offhand remark by former Riot Games CEO Niccolo Laurent. According to Christian Link, Laurent once joked during the early stages of production when the show's full-season greenlight was still pending. Link was apparently called into the room, where Laurent initially claimed that Arcane wouldn't be granted a green light to release, but after a moment of tension, the punchline was delivered and Laurent quipped that instead of approving just 1 season, he would give the green signal for 5 seasons instead. This was just a random comment made in the heat of the moment as a joke, which may have inadvertently sparked the speculation surrounding a larger long-term plan for the series. Yee also explained that the comment was intended more as encouragement than a firm commitment to 5 seasons. Now, you have to understand that creating an animated series of such finesse involves a very lengthy development process, and apparently just 1 season was already a lot to ask of Riot's executive team. Plus, if the studio was hoping for another season to release soon after, the creators needed to begin the work on a potential follow-up while finishing the first season itself. So the entire 5-season remark was likely meant to reassure the creators, so as to signal a strong support for their vision and offer them their own sense of creative freedom. Now, even if 5 seasons of Arcane were never part of the plan, that doesn't mean the story's world is finished. Based on Link's earlier remarks, when the show's conclusion was first announced, it was implied that much more could still be explored. According to them, Arcane is only the beginning, because if this show was just the first of many stories that they wanted to tell in Runeterra, what would even come next after Arcane itself comes to an end? Now, given the success of Arcane, it seems more than likely that any future projects in the League of Legends universe will choose to stick with Fortitia's animation style, in order to maintain the same cohesive and visually stunning aesthetic. For what's next, no specific stories have been confirmed yet. However, with so much rich source material to draw from, it wouldn't be surprising to see iconic arcs like the harrowing of Shadow Isles, or the Ruined King brought to life on Netflix. I can only hope that we won't have to endure another 3-year wait for the franchise's next chapter like they did for Arcane Season 2. Did Netflix play a role in Arcane's cancellation? Now, I wasn't going to narrow down on this particular topic, but given the wave of comments floating around about Netflix's bad habit of canceling all the great shows, I think talking about their contribution in Arcane's cancellation was more than necessary. Okay, so the news of the show ending with Season 2 was first announced in June 2024, alongside the first trailer, and this was 5 months ahead of Arcane's return to streaming. But this was not just a case of Netflix canceling a show in its prime though, simply because the plan was always to end Arcane after just 2 seasons. Like I said before, Arcane co-creator Christian Link revealed that with this show, they mark the beginning of a larger storytelling journey, and partnership with the wonderful animation studio that is Fortiche. And come on guys, you can pull out flaws in a lot of things, but Arcane's animation is not one of them. Anyway, apparently from the beginning, since they started working on this project, they had a very specific ending in mind, which meant the story of Arcane needed to wrap up with this second season in order to bring their vision to life. Even if they never had a specific episode count estimate in mind, they always knew that Arcane's story would be finite, as the creators always had a strong idea of a beginning and an end. Plus, like they've repeatedly mentioned, Arcane is just the first of many stories that the creator of the show wanted to tell in Runeterra. Now, at a time when more and more shows are being cancelled after ending on a cliffhanger, or wrapping up far too soon, it's as rare as it is refreshing to hear that the end of Arcane was the ending the creators always planned, and inevitably it's the ending that fans deserved. But there's more to it, as Link expanded on the reasoning behind the decision of ending the Netflix show, by further explaining how they always had a specific story in mind. Sure, they could have definitely stretched it, but this was more of their personal angle as creatives. They didn't want Arcane to be one of those TV shows where clearly the writers are running out of juice, and somehow that makes sense because really, just how inspired can you stay about the same thing for how long? They had already put in 9 years for these characters, and given the story they wanted to convey, it felt irresponsible for them to stretch Arcane to a point where it started to feel like we could not do it justice. So no, Netflix didn't have much of a role to play here. It was actually Christian Link and Alex Yee who didn't want to overdo it. Is it possible for Arcane to expand the League of Legends universe? So, even before Arcane Season 2 aired, it was revealed that the series would pave the way for many additional stories. In around October 2024, Christian Link shared his insights about the future of League of Legends projects. Apparently, Arcane is just the beginning, and multiple new projects are already in development. These will all explore different regions and characters from the franchise, with some continuing the stories of characters introduced in Arcane. From these comments, it was clear that Arcane was always meant to set up future stories. While the show does a great job of concluding certain character arcs and wrapping up the Piltover-Zon conflict, some characters are left in a sort of limbo in the show's open-ended finale, so it's possible that these characters are likely to serve as the foundation for any future Arcane spin-offs, tying into Link's earlier remarks about some upcoming projects continuing the stories of the show's characters. Basically, in the scale of Riot's ambition of the League of Legends universe, they considered Arcane to be a sort of trial run, in order to figure out if they had the chops, characters, or the storytelling to accomplish this. But now, as they're working actively on follow-up projects, they're all enjoying sharing the limelight with some other characters of this world. How did Arcane set up for a Noxian spin-off show? Arcane Season 2 introduced the Black Rose, which clearly set the stage for more focus on Noxus, a faction in the League of Legends universe. Now, I think one of the most exciting potential spin-offs from Arcane could focus on Mel Medarda. In Season 2, her character underwent significant development, particularly with the revelation that she's a mage connected to the Black Rose. We saw Mel use her newly discovered magical abilities to stand up to her mother, Ambessa, while also helping characters like Jinx, Vi, Caitlyn, and Jace defend Piltover against Ambessa's ambitions, and Victor's growing influence. In fact, by the end of Season 2, there were some intriguing hints about Mel, the Black Rose, and where this storyline could go next, because in the final scene of Arcane Season 2, we see Mel sitting in her mother's ship, dressed in an attire similar to Ambessa, and holding her golden Noxian mask. This basically implies that Mel has now taken her mother's place as a Noxian warlord, and head of House Medarda. While it's likely that Mel will try to correct her mother's wrongs and lead more benevolently, it's still a fascinating development. Given that Season 2 wrapped up with Mel returning to Noxus, it opened the door for more stories in that kingdom, and the possibility of many Noxian League of Legends champions playing a role in her future arc. Plus, in the Season 2 finale, Mel also betrayed the leader of the Black Rose. While she did defeat Ambessa as the Black Rose had hoped, Mel refused to follow the mysterious leader's teachings. Instead, she called her a deceiver before taking her down as well. This could set the stage for Mel's future storyline, where she finishes what her mother started by confronting and potentially defeating the Black Rose, all while delving deeper into her own magic and uncovering more about the great kingdom of Noxus. Another potential spin-off might see old Arcane characters continuing the fight. So another potential Arcane spin-off could focus on Caitlyn and Vi. In their final scene, Caitlyn asked Vi if she was still in the fight, and Vi replied how she could never get rid of her. While it's unclear what fight Caitlyn was referring to after the defeat of Victor and Ambessa, there are many intriguing possibilities. One idea is that Vi and Caitlyn might set out across Runeterra to track down and eliminate all traces of Hextech, given that Jace made the decision to trade the technology to other nations by creating two-way hex gates back in Season 1. Another possibility is that Caitlyn and Vi are preparing to support Mel's new cause, now that they've formed an alliance. Alternatively, we could have a spin-off that would focus on Piltover's other characters. In Season 2, Piltover and Zaun join forces to defeat Victor and Ambessa, leading to Savika being appointed as Zaun's representative on the council. While this unification is a promising step, it's unlikely to be entirely smooth, making it quite the compelling storyline to explore in a future series. And then there's the entire confusion regarding Jinx's death, which makes sense because in television, we're never supposed to assume a death until we see the body. Lastly, a spin-off could delve more into other key characters like Echo, as the potential of his time reversal abilities were barely scratched during Arcane's final run. Whatever the future of this universe holds, we fans might have to wait a while for any more stories set in the Arcane world. With a 3-year gap between Season 1 and Season 2, it seems like the creative team isn't rushing to jump into the next chapter just yet. Lastly, to top it off with Meryl's comments on Reddit, just because they want to expand this franchise doesn't mean it would be easy for them to pump out quality shows like Arcane like a factory. Just like making such games is worth the player's time, so is telling great stories and making incredible shows based on these games. I think it makes sense because I would rather wait and have quality shows like Arcane than watch 24 episodes of utter garbage every 15 months. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think the next Arcane spin-off should be? Let us know about your thoughts and theories in the comment box below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!